Namaste everyone. Let's start the class with the prayers first. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhurбхавасваha Tatsavitra Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Astoma Sadgamya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya Mrityurma Amritam Gamya Om Sehna Bhavatu Sehna Bhunaktu Saviryam Karvavai Tejasvi Navaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai Om Shanti 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 Om. Let's do the Shanti mantra from this Upanishad also. And this Upanishad is Mandukya Upanishad. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shinuyam Devaha Bhadram Pashyem Akshibhi Yatraha Steraiva Ange Tutushtanam Sastanubhi Vaishem Devhitam Yadayu Swastina Indro Vridshravah Swastina Pusha Vishwaveda Swastina Takshriyo Arishtnebhi Swastina Brispati Dadatu Om Shanti 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 Om. Last verse of this Upanishad, verse number 12. Matra chaturtho vyavharyaha prapancho shamaha shivo advait evam onkar atam eva samavishit atmanaha amanam ya evam veda. That which has no parts, the soundless, the incomprehensible, beyond all the senses, the cessation of all phenomena, all blissful and non-dual Om, is the fourth. And verily it is the same as the Atma. He who knows this merges his self in the Supreme Self, the individual in the total. Everything is in this verse. Till now, this Upanishad has been explaining to us the various parts of Om and has narrated to us in detail specific superimpositions also. How to chant, how to meditate upon Om. But having pronounced the sounds Om, when that Om chanting ends, and before the meditator can bring forth the next Om in the series, there is a moment of blissful silence. So it's like a silence between the two Oms, which generally not taken into consideration by those who are chanting the sacred mantra thoughtlessly. They just keep on thinking how long their Om has been. But the real thing is the silence between the two Oms. There should be a silence between the two successive Oms. So this Rishi is trying to explain to us disciples the significances of the Om and the blessings which get accrued to a meditator on meditating upon the silence of the infinite. We have seen in the earlier mantras that we have a physical body. Through the physical body, we look outside into the sense objects. And those are the experiences of a waker. And when we sleep, all those experiences, they get folded. And we go through that, through our mind during our dreams. Because the dream is the one which projects itself to the experience in our inner world of all those outer objects. So that's why we say that as a dreamer, I experienced it. So eyes are closed, senses are closed, but you are experiencing it just like you experienced in the waking state. That was a dreamer's experience. But then there is a part which is a dreamless. And what do you experience at that time? You experience some peace. Because mind is not working. Body is restful. But you feel further rest. And what are the names he gave? He said Vishwa, Tejas, and Pratya. So these are the superimpositions upon the supreme reality, actually. But then he mentioned the fourth state, which is called Turiya. And he explained that Turiya is eternal, immortal, knowledge, absolute. And in essence, it's nothing but bliss. That is what Turiya is. So the partless Om is the soundless aspect, the silence that must necessarily be between two successive Oms. That is Turiya. He says it's incomprehensible. Why? Because in that silence, none of our sense instruments can function. Because we comprehend through our senses. So senses are not functioning. Sense organs cannot register any impressions from silence. The mind cannot comprehend it. And that's why this expression in this verse, avyevaharya, that indicates the incomprehensibility of the silence of that Om in the mind. Silence is that which is not available for our sense organs. They cannot perceive it. Our mind cannot comprehend it. So that's why he says that it is the cessation of the phenomena. And this stage must necessarily be all blissful. Why? Because the agitations of the world have shut down. All the perishable polarity into which we have projected ourselves with a wrong assumption has quietened down. That's why there's no fear. There's no thought in our heart. There's no dissatisfaction. That's why it's called blissful. This is a soundless Om of this description. And this is what we need to experience. And this is what we do experience in Turiya. And this is the advice of this great Rishi. So following the pattern which he has given it to us, we got to understand that sure, in the waking state, we got to do our duties. In the dream state, sure, we are dreaming. But then there's a deep sleep also. But higher than the deep sleep is the Turiya. We have studied other Upanishads also. The same idea is often repeated. Because the truth is the same. No matter which Rishi is talking about, Students are different, so according to the understanding of the students, the mantras can be different, but the essence is the same. It seems like it's a tireless effort of the great rishis to keep on teaching us so that we start to meditate also. And they want us to at least, for a one split moment, experience it and see how beautiful this experience is. Because we see these outer experiences, we find it fascinating. Whether we look at the ocean or the forest or the clouds or the colors, flowers, sure, it's fascinating, but it's temporary. Temporary. We know that dreams are also temporary. We can dream, beautiful dreams can come into while we are sleeping. That Sushupti we can reach also, where we feel that silence, which is like a temporary bliss. But this Turiya he is talking about, no words to explain it. And he keeps on encouraging us. All these rishis, they keep on encouraging us. They say, make an attempt. At least spend a few moments of your life independently of all other periods of time. Detach from the waking state. Detach from the dream state. Detach from the deep sleep state. The contents of a moment comprise the contents of the infinite, which we cannot comprehend, but we can definitely feel it. The infinite and the eternal. This is what we are trying to reach. Each moment given us to live is an occasion sacred and divine. For us to live as the infinite. Because this Atma is nothing other than Paramatma. Atma is infinite. But we have made ourselves finite by thinking that we are the body. We are either groping about in the burial grounds of life's dead moments. That means we just love to live in the past. As they say, past is dead, but we just keep on reliving it. Or we are continuously roaming in the womb of time, among the unborn hours, hunting after our hopes, plans, expectations. So either in the dead past or that unborn future. And we miss the present where we have the chance to feel one with the infinite. That can happen only in now, in the present moment. While we are trying to capture the silence between the two successive ohms, our mind and intellect become steady and sharp and single pointed. That's what happens. So in the meditation seat, we are slowly edging ourselves to the rim of time, from where we may, in the meditation, get ourselves lifted towards that eternal. That's what's called a transcending. This is the intention. This is to be achieved, if not today, at some time in this journey, which is called a pilgrimage. This is a Tirath Yatra we are living actually. See, just like we go for a Tirath Yatra, we keep on reminding ourselves towards this reality. The whole life is a Tirath Yatra, actually. Every day, no matter where we are. If we can end our attitude of mortality, finitude, sorrows, and despairs, we will see that we are on this beautiful journey. There alone can we discover ourselves to be the all-perfect, the omniscient, and omnipotent. That alone is the realm where sighs have no meaning, no despair, no sigh, where the tears dry up and the sorrows dare not invade. There's no room for sorrows. There's no room for despair, because it's a homogeneous ocean of bliss only. So what did we learn from this beautiful Upanishad? It's a very short Upanishad. In fact, it's the shortest Upanishad of them all. But it packs a serious punch by addressing one of the most fundamental questions. Who am I really? That is the question being asked over here. Who am I? Because the human beings have grappled since the beginning of time. No wonder Adi Shankaracharya ji declared that the Mandukya contained within its very small nutshell the entire wisdom of the Upanishads. And Shri Ram, we are all familiar with it. He believed that too. So you can see that this Upanishad existed before Treta Yuga. There is a Upanishad which is called Mutkit Upanishad. He is talking, Shri Ram is talking to Hanumanji. And what are his words? He says, if you had to pick just one Upanishad to master, Vayuputra, pick the Mandukya. And you will reach your goal of self-realization. Before you start memorizing these verses, understand. Just one Upanishad to gain ultimate bliss, Shri Ram is telling. You might think that, oh, I can totally do that and attain self-realization. But remember that this advice was for Hanumanji, who through the sheer power of his devotion to Ram was well on his way to becoming a realized soul. Are we there yet? We got to look at it. Do we have the same seva bhav? Do we have the same dedication, the commitment? So for other less advanced seekers like us, Shri Ram goes on to say that depending on where they are in the hierarchy of realization, they would need to study the 10 principal Upanishads, or the 32 major ones, or maybe all 108 of them. It might take a lifetime, but all the Upanishads are taking us towards that. And in the beginning, when we started this, I told you about the Mandukya, where the word came from. Manduk in Sanskrit means frog. Frog, the metamorphosis of a frog from tadpole to adult is a common metaphor for spiritual growth and enlightenment. That we keep on transforming ourselves. That's why, and some people say that the Rishi, maybe Mandukya Rishi, is the one who wrote this. These 12 verses. But right now, where we are, we cannot experience the Atma. These are the words for us. How can we ever hope to experience it as Turiya, which is beyond Pragya? How do we do that? This is the answer given over here in these 12 verses. Because the teacher says there's a way, and I'll teach you this. And that's where we get all excited and delighted. It's all embedded or contained in Om, he says, in the syllable Om. Meditate on Om with faith, with the devotion and true understanding, and you will enjoy not just the first 3 states of consciousness, but also what lies beyond them, while you are fully conscious. While you are fully conscious means you're not sleeping, you're not in the deep sleep. You are in the wakeful state, and you can still enjoy this bliss. With open eyes, you can see God right in front of you. You can talk to God. Have a conversation with God. The first sound of Om, Ah, Vaishvanara. The second sound, U, like Ah and U. Stands for Tejas, we learned. And the third sound of Om, Ma. Like when we close our lips, like Oh, then you close your lips to merge. That represents Pragya. That's what we have learned. So when we say the Om, remember what is really happening. And the fourth part of Om, there is a pause between the one Om and the next. You feel the infinite, which has no letter, no sound, no characteristics. Sure, we try to define it with our limited understanding, but we cannot. It is beyond description. It's ungraspable. It cannot be heard and cannot be spoken of. That's why it's called silence. But it contains within it the 3 sounds of the Om, which contain the entire universe. This is the supreme state of Turiya. This is Atma, your true self. This is Brahma, that silence. Meditate on the pause, knowing Om as Turiya, knowing Om as your true self. He who knows this and meditates on the Om unceasingly. You remember Rishi Patanjali said Nirantara, unceasingly, consistently, with faith and devotion. Satikara Sevita becomes the Om and realizes his true self. Remember, there is a hidden Mahavakya in this Upanishad. I am Atma, Brahm. This self is Brahm. This is the Mahavakya of the Atharva Veda. I will stop talking here, and I would request Veena to give us the summary of this Upanishad.
Hersh ji, namaste.
Namaste ji, namaste.
Hersh ji, I don't think I need to give a summary because you have covered everything so beautifully. Whatever I have written is probably just redundant.
Okay,
yeah, fine. Because I mean, I wrote it out, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to say a whole lot more because you have done it so beautifully.
Okay, no, that's fine, Veena. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think Poonam wanted to say a few words, so let's go to Poonam.
Thank you, Harji. I'm going to try. This thing has been on my table for many, I would say more than a year. And I have not been able to, actually, I have not been able to do much with it. This is called Brahm Gyan Vali Mala. And I think it describes the state that we just talked about. But I'm going to try. It has many verses, but I think I will only attempt 4 or 5 today. And I'm sure there will be mistakes. Please forgive me. Asangoham, 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 punah punah. Sachidananda rupoham. Ahamevahamavyayah Nitya Shuddha Vimuktoham Nirakarohamavyayah Bhumananda Savrupoham Ahamevahamavyayah Nityoham Nirvagyoham Nirakaroham Achayute Paramananda Rupoham Ahamevahamavyayah Shuddha Chaitanya Rupoham Atmaramohamevacha Akhandananda Rupoham Ahamevahamavyayah Pratyachetanya Rupoham Shantoham Prakrite Paraha Shashvananda Rupoham Ahamevahamavyayah Tatvatita Paratmanam Madhyatita Parashiva Mayatita Param Jyoti Ahamevahamavyayah Antarjyotirbahirjyoti Pratyak Jyoti Paratpara Jyoti Jyoti Swam Jyoti Atma Jyoti Shivosmyaham. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Poonam. Beautiful. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.